G, Sanford? The G stands for goo goo gaga.
Not until that heathen apologizing for slamming the door in my face.
For years, viewers laughed along with Fred, Lamont, Aunt Esther, and Grady, thinking they knew everything about their world. But what if the funniest moments came from the cast's deepest, most painful truths? What if the people who made you laugh the hardest were hiding shocking stories? Until now. From failed spin-offs and Red Fox's real name to behind-the-scenes rivalries and dangerous moments on set, these are the surprising truths most fans never knew. The unspoken script wars. Behind the scenes of Sanford and Son, there was an ongoing struggle over how black characters should be portrayed. Many of the show's writers were white, tasked with crafting stories about life in Watts, a neighborhood in Los Angeles, often without first-hand experience. Red Fox and the black cast frequently pushed back, challenging the scripts and telling the writers bluntly, "Black people don't talk like that." Over time, these disagreements grew more intense as the actors fought to keep their characters authentic. One of the most controversial moments came when Fred Sanford used a racial slur in a courtroom scene. While the studio audience erupted in cheers, NBC executives were deeply concerned. Red Fox stood firm, insisting that he alone could deliver the line, though no one else should. This daring stance, controversial for its era, highlighted how committed Fox was to realism on the show. He was willing to risk conflict to ensure that Sanford and Son reflected the truth of the community it portrayed, even if it stirred controversy behind the cameras. Origins of Sanford and Son. While Sanford and Son is considered a quintessentially American sitcom, its roots actually trace back to the United Kingdom. The show was based on the British series Steptoe and Son, which aired from 1962 to 1965. The concept proved so enduring that adaptations were later created in Sweden, the Netherlands, and Portugal. Fred Sanford and Red Fox. At the heart of the show was Red Fox as Fred G. Sanford. Interestingly, the character's last name came from Fox's own birth name, John Elroy Sanford. The first name, Fred, was a tribute to his late brother, who had passed away 5 years before the show premiered. Fox's signature walk, his bumbling shuffle, was not a quirk of the character alone. According to him, it was all in the shoes. He explained that the moment he put on those heavy, oversized shoes, he became Fred Sanford. Without them, the walk, the posture, and even the attitude wouldn't exist. Many fans also remember Fred's exaggerated heart attacks. These antics were inspired by Fox's mother, Mary Sanford, who would dramatize ailments like emphysema, lumbago, and whooping cough to get attention when he was a child. Aunt Esther and childhood friendship. LaWanda Page, who played Aunt Esther, was Fox's childhood friend from St. Louis. She was his first and only choice for the role. Early in production, the producers doubted her readiness for television and considered firing her. Fox threatened to walk off the show if they let her go, and ultimately, Page stayed, creating one of the most memorable characters in television history. Their real-life friendship added depth to the iconic on-screen rivalry. Behind the scenes, names and ages. Demond Wilson, who played Lamont, received his character's name from a combination of Fox's teenage bandmate and Wilson's own full name, Grady Demond Wilson. Whitman Mayo, who portrayed Grady, was actually in his early 40s when he played the much older character. Similarly, Red Fox was only 49 during the premiere of Sanford and Son, though makeup, wardrobe, and hair coloring made him appear in his 60s. Music and cultural impact. The theme song of Sanford and Son was composed by the legendary Quincy Jones, who later produced iconic albums for Michael Jackson, including Bad and Thriller, Salary Disputes, and TV Drama. In 1974, Fox demanded a salary increase to match the show's booming popularity. When NBC refused, he walked off the set for the remainder of the season. The producers wrote around his absence, having Grady fill in while explaining that Fred was away in St. Louis attending a cousin's funeral. Ironically, this became the highest-rated season of the show. The Mystery of Fred G. Sanford. The G in Fred G. Sanford was never officially revealed on the show. However, in real life, Foxx's father was named Fred G. Sanford, and his brother was Fred G. Sanford Jr., with the G standing for Glenn. Sanford and Son versus All in the Family. In the 1970s, many viewers assumed that Sanford and Son was a spin-off of All in the Family. While it's true that television legend Norman Lear served as executive producer for both shows, there were no direct narrative connections between them. Lear himself explained that the shows were created independently. "We didn't compare them, but the characters called it like they saw it in their own neighborhoods." Demond Wilson, who played Lamont Sanford, echoed this sentiment. He emphasized that the two series were entirely distinct. "There is no comparison, really. The two shows have nothing to do with each other. I think they're both bold shows, but they're entirely different. Red Fox's Sanford is not a bigot. He's just a cantankerous old man who will straighten out anybody if they're wrong." Despite the differences, Foxx himself was intrigued by the idea of a crossover. He often entertained the thought of seeing Fred Sanford interact with Archie Bunker. "I've thought about it quite often," he said, "and I wish it could happen. Maybe somewhere they might have put a special together or something like that." The relationship changed between Sanford and Son. In a revealing interview with Get.tv, Demond Wilson reflected on his complex relationship with Red Foxx, describing how it evolved over the years from camaraderie to mentorship, and ultimately to disappointment. Wilson explained that their bond began almost immediately, built on mutual respect and shared streetwise sensibilities. It went from mentor to father/son to older brother/younger brother. Whatever they said to Red, he said, "Go ask my son. Whatever he wants to do, that's what we'll do." We hit it off right away. Red was straight up street, as was I. He recalled a pivotal moment early in the show when the producers wanted him to do publicity shots with Whitman Mayo, who played Grady, in case they replaced Foxx. Wilson refused, telling the producers, "I will do the show as long as Red wants to. When he doesn't want to do it anymore, I'm out." This act of loyalty deepened their bond. Word reached Foxx that Wilson was standing by him, solidifying their connection. However, the relationship eventually soured. Foxx walked away from the show in 1977 over salary disputes, announcing it publicly in the press without informing Wilson directly. That lack of communication created a rift between them, and the two did not speak again until 1983, 6 years after Sanford and Son had ended. Fun fact: closing credits. As a final note, the phrase "Sanford and Son" heard in the closing credits was actually spoken by Demond Wilson and recorded in front of a live studio audience. Long before the world knew him as Fred Sanford, Red Foxx was a king of blue comedy. Red Fox's stand-up routines were notorious for their adult content, filled with foul language and jokes meant strictly for grown-ups. This edgy humor stood in stark contrast to the family-friendly comedy that would later make him a household name. He got his start in the 1940s, performing mime and singing in Harlem clubs. His talent and charisma soon earned him a position as master of ceremonies at a nightclub in Baltimore, where he began refining his stand-up act. By 1947, performing alongside fellow comedian Slappy White, he was earning a respectable $450 a week. Foxx's big break came in 1964 when NBC host Hugh Downs spotted him performing in San Francisco. Despite concerns from some network executives about his risque humor, Foxx was invited to appear on The Today Show. After that, talk shows couldn't get enough of him. He appeared on The Tonight Show, Joey Bishop, Merv Griffin, Mike Douglas, and Steve Allen. His Las Vegas performances were equally lucrative, earning him $4,000 a week. When Sanford and Son premiered, it quickly became a massive hit, consistently ranking in the top 10 for most of its 5-year run. Foxx commanded a high salary for each episode, around $35,000. But he knew he deserved more. He demanded $25,000 a week, plus an extra dollar, aiming to earn more than Carol O'Connor, the star of CBS's All in the Family. In 1974, Foxx made headlines when he walked off the set, citing health issues. His absence forced the writers to remove Fred Sanford from 9 episodes over 2 seasons, and the producers even filed a $10 million lawsuit against him. Yet the show's success made Foxx too valuable to lose. Eventually, a new agreement was reached. He received the salary he demanded, along with 25% of the show's net profits. A tragic echo. Years after Sanford and Son ended, Redd Foxx was starring in a new CBS sitcom called The Royal Family, produced by Eddie Murphy. But on October 11th, 1991, during a routine rehearsal, tragedy struck. Foxx suddenly clutched his chest and collapsed to the floor. His co-stars and crew, so accustomed to seeing Fred Sanford stage fake heart attacks on Sanford and Son, assumed it was just another one of his famous gags. They laughed, waiting for him to spring up and deliver a punchline, but he never did. By the time they realized the gravity of the situation, it was too late. Redd Foxx had suffered a fatal heart attack. The cruel irony of his death mirrored the very joke that had made him legendary. The laughter, followed by the dawning realization from those around him, highlighted just how deeply that iconic gag had embedded itself into the world of television. What had brought joy to millions became the heartbreaking reality of his final moments. Even at the height of his fame, Foxx struggled financially. He loved luxury cars and owned multiple homes, but his lavish lifestyle led him to file for bankruptcy in 1983. By 1989, his troubles deepened when the IRS seized nearly all of his assets to cover $2.5 million in back taxes, plus penalties and interest. This part of Foxx's story was largely unknown to fans. Despite his enormous success on screen, he faced intense financial difficulties behind the scenes. A reminder that Hollywood fame and fortune do not always guarantee personal stability. Lamont's untold story. Demond Wilson, who portrayed Lamont Sanford, the patient, often exasperated son on Sanford and Son, led a life far more complex than his calm on-screen persona suggested. His journey spanned the battlefields of war, the unpredictable world of Hollywood, and ultimately a surprising new calling that few fans would ever have guessed. Before stepping into the role of Lamont, Wilson had already faced challenges most could not imagine. From 1966 to 1968, he served in the United States Army as part of the 4th Infantry Division, fighting in the Vietnam War. During his service, he was wounded, a stark contrast to the comic antics of the junkyard in Watts that would later define his television career. That experience in a war zone left a lasting impact on Wilson, shaping his resilience and perspective in ways few could see beneath the humor of his later work. Yet, Wilson's talents extended far beyond military service. He had been performing from a remarkably young age, appearing on Broadway at just 4 years old. By 12, he was dancing on the stage of Harlem's legendary Apollo Theater. Performance was woven into his identity long before he ever arrived on the Sanford and Son set. Wilson's Hollywood journey was not without emotional upheaval. In 1977, when Redd Foxx walked off the show amid a highly publicized salary dispute, Wilson was deeply hurt, not merely by the disruption to the show, but by the way he learned of it. Rather than being informed directly, he heard the shocking news from a newscaster in an NBC hallway. The lack of communication from his co-star and on-screen father left a mark that stayed with him for years. Even with a $1 million contract waiting at CBS for his next project, Baby, I'm Back, Wilson could not shake the sting of that personal slight. Reflecting later, he admitted, "I forgave him and I loved Redd, but I never forgot that the love was there." You can watch any episode and see that perhaps the most startling revelation came directly from Wilson himself. In a candid interview, he disclosed a fact that dramatically reshapes how fans perceive the show. "I never did an episode when I wasn't strapped. Red, too. I was strapped. You get ignorant, you're going to get bust on." This shocking admission revealed that both Wilson and Foxx carried guns on the set of Sanford and Son for personal protection. Beneath the laughter and staged heart attacks lay a reality far more dangerous than viewers could have imagined. After Sanford and Son came to an end, DeMond Wilson did not immediately pursue more acting roles. Instead, in a surprising turn, he devoted himself to a new path. In 1984, he became an ordained Pentecostal minister. This decision marked a profound shift in his life, as faith and spiritual service became his primary focus, signaling a deep personal transformation beyond the world of television. Wilson's commitment to helping others continued to grow. In 1994, he founded Restoration House, a sanctuary dedicated to guiding former prisoners back into society. The center provides spiritual counseling, job training, and mentorship, aiming to give individuals a second chance at life. While Wilson occasionally returned to acting and continued writing, including his memoir, it was his work as a minister that defined his post-television purpose and legacy. Determined to set the record straight about his life and career, Wilson documented his experiences in Second Banana, the bittersweet memoirs of the Sanford and Son years. He wrote the book to provide a factual, behind-the-scenes account of the show and to correct the many inaccuracies circulating about him and Red Fox. He described his years on the show as bittersweet, a reflection of the highs and lows he experienced both professionally and personally. The title, Second Banana, encapsulates how Wilson viewed his role on the show, often overshadowed by Fox's towering presence, while also signaling his intent to tell the story from his perspective. Through the memoir, Wilson offered a balanced, insider's look at the dynamics, challenges, and triumphs that shaped the iconic sitcom. Ultimately, Second Banana provides readers with a rare, candid glimpse into the realities behind the laughter, revealing the complex relationship between Wilson and Foxx, and offering a heartfelt reflection on the bittersweet nature of life in show business. LaWanda Page's journey. LaWanda Page brought to life one of television's most unforgettable characters, Aunt Esther, the strict church-going sister-in-law of Fred Sanford. But behind Esther's stern, pious exterior lay a life far wilder and more complex than viewers could ever have imagined. Before she became a television icon, Page performed under a very different persona, the daring and sensational bronze goddess of fire. Her act was a high-stakes spectacle, involving lighting cigarettes with her fingertips, swallowing flames, and even placing flaming torches against her own body. She openly admitted that she often burned herself during these dangerous performances, yet she accepted the risks as part of earning a living. The fearless intensity of her fire-eating days made her one of the most extraordinary cast members on Sanford and Son. After leaving the fire-eating stage behind, Page turned to stand-up comedy, earning titles such as the Queen of Comedy or the Black Queen of Comedy. Her humor was bold and unfiltered, far from the family-friendly antics of Aunt Esther. She specialized in blue comedy, tackling topics like sexuality, race relations, and religion. One of her albums, Watch It, Sucker, became a gold-selling hit. Though the title referenced Aunt Esther's famous catchphrase, the content was strictly for adults, featuring clever wordplay, sharp observational humor, and physical comedy, once even removing her underwear on stage and auctioning it off. Beyond their on-screen chemistry, Page and Red Fox shared a deep personal history. The two had grown up together in St. Louis, forming a lifelong friendship that would profoundly influence the creation of Aunt Esther. Early in Sanford and Son, producers questioned Page's readiness for television and considered firing her. But Fox intervened decisively, famously declaring, "Hell no," and threatening to walk off the show if she was let go. Thanks to his insistence, Page stayed, going on to create one of TV's most iconic and memorable characters. Foxx's unwavering loyalty to his childhood friend underscored a personal bond that outweighed professional concerns. That decisive moment not only secured Page's role, but also set the foundation for the legendary on-screen rivalry between Fred Sanford and Aunt Esther. Tragically, the demands of her career took a toll on Page's health. She passed away in 2002 at the age of 81 due to complications from diabetes. During her earlier years as the bronze goddess of fire, maintaining her health and appearance had been essential, but the relentless schedule of filming Sanford and Son and other Hollywood commitments gradually impacted her well-being. For years, a persistent rumor claimed that Page was the younger sister of actress Lynn Hamilton, who played Donna Harris, Fred's kind-hearted girlfriend. The rumor even appeared in Page's obituary in the Los Angeles Times. However, in 2016, Demond Wilson, who co-starred with both actresses, clarified the truth. Page and Hamilton were not sisters, though they did become very close friends while working together on the show. The supporting cast's surprising lives and legacies. Beyond the central trio of Fred, Lamont, and Aunt Esther, Sanford and Son was brought to life by a talented ensemble of supporting actors. These performers, who portrayed beloved characters such as Grady, Bubba, and Rollo, each had fascinating backstories and personal challenges that influenced both their performances and their lives off-screen. Whitman Mayo, who played the stooped and endearing Grady Wilson, Fred Sanford's loyal friend and fellow schemer, was a particularly surprising case. Despite portraying an elderly man, Mayo was only in his early 40s when Sanford and Son first aired. He drew inspiration for Grady from his own grandfather, capturing the mannerisms, speech, and charm of an older generation with remarkable authenticity. Mayo's life outside acting was equally remarkable. He served in the U.S. Army from 1951 to 1953 and spent 7 years working as a counselor for troubled young boys. To make ends meet, he took on a variety of jobs, including picking grapes, working at a dairy, and laboring on the railroad. In a surprising twist, he even spent a year in Mexico playing professional volleyball. Following his time on Sanford and Son, Mayo received his own short-lived spin-off Grady, which followed his character as he moved out of Watts. Beyond television, he dedicated himself to teaching, sharing his acting knowledge at Clark Atlanta University, and even ventured into entrepreneurship by opening his own travel agency. Mayo's diverse experiences and dedication to his craft made him not only a memorable character on screen, but also a remarkable individual behind the scenes. Don Bexley. Bubba, and a lifelong friendship. Don Bexley brought to life Bubba, Fred Sanford's loyal and often bewildered friend. What many viewers did not realize was that Bexley and Red Fox shared a deep friendship that spanned nearly 50 years, long before they appeared together on Sanford and Son. Bexley was already a seasoned entertainer by the time he made his television debut. His career included work as an orchestra director, singer, dancer, and stand-up comedian. Notably, he became the first black stand-up comic to perform in the famous Borscht Belt Hotel circuit, a highly competitive entertainment venue in the Catskills. It was Red Fox who personally invited Bexley to join Sanford and Son, giving him his first television role at the age of 62. Their bond was so strong that Bexley served as an honorary pallbearer at Fox's funeral, a testament to their enduring friendship and mutual respect. Interestingly, Bexley was more than 12 years older than Fox, even though their characters appeared to be of similar age on screen. Nathaniel Taylor, Rollo Lawson's journey. Nathaniel Taylor portrayed Rollo Lawson, Lamont Sanford's street-smart and often humorous best friend. While Rollo became a familiar face to millions of viewers, Taylor's life after the show was marked by unexpected challenges. In April 1986, he was arrested along with his brother on burglary charges. The case involved the theft of approximately $200,000 worth of computers and typewriters from a sports club in West Los Angeles. Following the slowdown of his acting career, Taylor chose a path of giving back to the community. He opened a performing arts studio for young actors, hoping to use his own experiences to guide them away from trouble and toward a more positive future in the arts. Lynn Hamilton, Donna Harris, and a steady career. Lynn Hamilton played Donna Harris, Fred Sanford's kind and patient girlfriend, a nurse whose role may not have been as flashy as some of her co-stars, but showcased a different kind of strength and dedication. Hamilton had a remarkably long and steady career in Hollywood, including appearances on Broadway and 3 years with the renowned New York Shakespeare Festival. Beyond Sanford and Son, she held recurring roles on popular television shows such as The Waltons, where she played Verdie Grant Foster, and Good Times. She also appeared in influential miniseries, including Roots: The Next Generations. Hamilton's personal life was equally enduring. She was married to poet and playwright Frank Jenkins for nearly 50 years, from 1964 until his passing in 2014, balancing a stable personal life with a long-standing career in entertainment. Sanford and Son delivered laughter to millions of viewers, becoming one of television's most beloved sitcoms. Yet behind the humor and hijinks, the lives of its cast were far more complicated. Each actor carried personal struggles, hidden histories, and challenges that shaped who they were both on and off the screen. These untold stories reveal the complexities of fame, the strength of deep friendships, and the sacrifices made by the talented individuals who brought the junkyard of Watts to life. Beyond the laughs, their journeys offer a poignant glimpse into the human stories behind one of television's most iconic shows.